Upstate golf guys, here we go. Anthony Rogers, steal the show. RGB, Florida Mike on the scene. Hollywood Mikey, living the dream. Eagle, birdie, par, bogey, fly. Swing that club, watch it sky. Lombardi putter shine so clean. Golfing addicts chasing the green. Scrounge up balls from trouble spots, off the tee or random plots. Long drive legend with a grin. Grip it, rip it, let's begin. We're the crew you can't outdrive. Golf obsession keeps us alive. Buzzing by in a golf cart spree. Talking swing, sipping iced tea. Eagle, birdie, par, bogey, fly. Swing that club, watch it sky. Lombardi putter shine so clean. Golfing addicts chasing the green.
And we are back for another episode of the Upstate Golf Guys podcast. Before we get the party started, I want to give a couple of my affiliates a shout out. We have Trouble Off the Tee. Don't forget about my man Marty over there. He has some dope hats from I'll Go Alone to Never Lay Up. Everybody knows about I'll Never Lay Up. But you go to troubleoffthetee.com and use Upstate 20 at checkout and you'll save yourself 20% on some dope hats. And he's got a pretty cool playlist inside the hat for you guys. It's a surprise playlist for you guys that love music on the golf course. And then can't forget about our new sponsor and affiliate, 88 Links. I got his hat right here, Florida Mike. I love it.
Looking good.
I love his stuff. His shoes are coming. I gave the shoes away to new golfer, a trail. He's on the tour. He has a friend that is a 10.5. I said, dude, all I want is some feedback and some pictures of you wearing the pictures, because I'm sure it will be highly appreciated, and they're yours, brother. But yeah, he's going to be sending me an 11 because I guess I got big monster toes or something that I didn't know about. They fit great in the back, but they don't fit great in the front. So Shoe Dog is going to send me a new pair of 11s. But go check out 88linksgolf.com and use Upstate 20 again and save yourself 20% on some dope hats. He's got some real nice shirts over there. I can't wait.
Love the shirts.
Can't wait to get my big ass foot in that size 11 shoe. But Florida Mike, let's get this party started, buddy. We have one of your guests on tonight that you invited, buddy. So why didn't you introduce your friend, Florida Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a good buddy of mine. He's a local right here close to me. He's actually like one of the first people I met when I joined Golf Week. We were actually started in the same flight. However, that's not how it is currently. It's my boy, Thomas Vilardi. He's also a basketball coach, very, very good basketball coach, but I'll let him get into that afterwards. But yeah, man, introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I appreciate you having me on. I love what you guys are doing. Love that you're doing this podcast. And yeah, Florida Mike, he's my boy. I've known him for years now. One of my favorite people on the planet. And I'm just real excited to be here.
That's awesome.
Thomas, listen, I know you started in D-Flight. So did I. I started in D-Flight. I'm up in C-Flight.
Same.
I'm struggling and I'm scratching my way and clawing my way in C-Flight. I want to hear about your journey, first off, of when you started on the Golf Week Am Tour and D-Flight. What gave you the confidence to move up into A-Flight now? Are you in A-Flight?
A-Flight, yes.
Man, tell me a little bit about that journey. When did you start Golf Week Am Tour, and where you're at now? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so my story is a little funny. So I grew up my whole life playing sports. I was a basketball player. I ran cross country and track, and I was a real competitive kid. Like, just had to have something that I was doing competitively all the way through college. I was part of the men's basketball program at my college, and then coached for a year with the women's program. after college, I moved back home and got a teaching job, which my parents are both teachers, so kind of followed in their footsteps. And I had never touched a golf club other than like maybe once when I was a little kid with my dad. Like, he was a big golfer, but just never was my thing. So my first year teaching, our athletic director came to me and said, "Hey, I need a golf coach. Like, will you do it? Do you know anything about it?" I'm like, I mean, I know the rules, like kind of, the basic of it. It's middle school golf. Like, I'm sure I could go out there and just watch and, I'm not going to be a great coach, but I can do it if you need someone to do it. So signed up to do that. And that's in August. That was like my first like month teaching, now I'm a brand new golf coach. And, so I was very fortunate that year I had 2 kids on my team that were junior golfers that played competitively year round, like knew what was going on. So for the first year of, for that season, they were actually teaching me more than I was teaching them.
Awesome.
We were on the driving range and, I got an old set of clubs for my dad and, I didn't even know anything. So they're teaching me and I'm kind of out there and working with them. And, but, at that point, my basketball career was over. I was, couple ankle sprains, couple dislocated shoulders. I was like, man, I don't, even playing basketball just for fun just was done. So, I was looking to fill something like that had been my whole life. So I was looking for something competitive to fill that void. And so I learned a little bit through that golf season and obviously I want to be a great coach. So I started watching some videos and talking to some people that I knew and really learned a lot in that first 6 months. And then I started playing just for fun with some buddies, and a buddy of mine played on the Golf Week tour, and he said, "Hey, like, you should come check it out. It's a good group of guys. Like, you'll have fun. It's competitive, kind of gives you something to shoot for." So I joined it. I joined in C Flight just because that's what he was in, and I didn't know any different. Played a couple tournaments in that, kind of learned what the amateur tour is like, kind of learned a little bit more about the flight, started to learn a little bit more about competitive golf, and after my first couple tournaments, I was hooked, like addicted. Like,
Yeah.
looking back on it was like, why did I ever play any other sport? Why didn't I play this growing up? Like, I think it's the greatest game ever invented.
It is.
So-
The addiction, the addiction is real. Listen, I have
100%.
I have an addictive personality, and I'll be the first to admit it. I have a lot of addictions, but my biggest addiction, dude, right now is golf, 100%. But carry on, brother. I want to hear more about it.
It's an addictive sport, and I love the fact, like, basketball is a team sport, and I love that. But I love the fact that, like, with golf, there's nobody to blame but yourself. Like, it's me, it's the work you put in, it's the the learning about the game, and it's a game that's never going to be perfect. So there's always something to learn, no matter how good you are. And that's kind of who I am. Like, I love to learn, I love to get better, I love to have a challenge. So yeah, that addiction is real. Thank God I have a wife that supports my crazy addiction and my golf, my golf career. So
Same.
love
I mean,
love her for that.
the wife supports me in my golf addiction more than anything. And I have Mother's Day coming up, and I should keep this quiet because she's in the next room, but I'm putting a pretty funny video together with some AI. Thanks to AI in the song, and you'll see it on social media. But it's pretty funny, and I have golfing all the time in there, like, as part of the song. I mean, how many tournaments did you win to move up? The time frame from moving from D to A flight? Tell me about that.
So yeah, so after that, those first couple tournaments, and I was hooked. I dropped down to D flight because I kind of understood where I was going to be, and I got a coach. Like I said, I'm a competitive guy, so if I do something, I'm like, I got to be like good at it.
Sure.
There was a local guy here at the golf course, Twisted Oaks, that someone recommended to me. So I went, and it was good timing. It was over the summer when I'm off, for the summer. So I was doing 2 lessons a week with him, and I told him, I'm like, hey, like, I need you to just give me everything you possibly can. Like, I'm going to work on it. I'm going to go to the range. I'm going to practice. So I worked with him twice a week for about 8 weeks and drastically changed my game. He was sending me videos, giving me drills to do, giving me practice plans to follow. And I followed it to a T, like, was countless hours a day at the driving range, and really saw myself get better. So ended up winning a couple tournaments towards the end of the season in D flight. I don't remember how many, probably 2 or 3. And finished out that first year, and then was bumped up to C flight. Went into the next year, same thing, like, still working with my coach and focusing on my game, just trying to be the best I could be. I think I won 4 or 5 that year.
Yeah.
I started playing really good, got some confidence. won 4 or 5 that year.
Wow.
And
That's awesome.
ended up that was the first and only year that I had gone to nationals. I haven't had a chance to go back. Ended up winning that my first time there at C flight, so that bumped me up to B flight, and
Let's
and
take
then
a
I was
pause.
in.
Let's take a pause on that real quick, though. But because when you won that national championship, it was pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah, it was
So
yeah
talk about the national championship, maybe just the final round, maybe like where you stood starting the final round, and
There you
how
go.
you just like turned into a robot and just
yeah
dominated.
Tell me about
yeah
that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was up in the top 4 or 5 the whole weekend. I played well the first day. Second day, played okay, good enough to be in the top. I think it was in the top four with the last group going out or whatever it was with the top four guys. And the first nine, like I was nervous. Like that was the first thing I gotta say. Like I was so nervous. Like I was like, man, I'm only a year and a half into golf. Like I'm not even sure that I'm like I don't even know if I can keep this going. So the front nine, I struggled, like really struggled. I had a couple of bogeys I should have had, and then I hit one in the water on a short par three over the water that I shouldn't have hit in the water. Just hit a terrible shot. So I think going into the back nine, I think I was 4 or 5 strokes back, and I was like, man, like I'm not playing well. Like I pretty much was like, man, I'm out of this. There's no way that there's no way I'm making up 4 or 5 strokes. Like these guys have been here before. So I just kind of was like, all right, I'm just going to go enjoy the back nine. Like it's a beautiful golf course. It's a great experience. I've had a great weekend. So I just kind of started just not thinking about it. And I ended up birdieing 11. And then on 12, I hit my drive right down the middle of the fairway, great drive, and I ended up in a divot. And I had never had that shot before. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't even know how to hit this shot.
What to
I
do.
mean, I'd kind of read some
That's
stuff,
one
but
of my rules that I would change, but then I go back and forth. I had I don't mean to interrupt you, but I go over this debate all the time, and it's like we get lucky breaks in golf all the time. So that's just like one of the bad breaks we get, so we have to accept it in the divot. I hate it though, but continue, man. So you were in the divot and you didn't know what to do.
yeah. So I mean, I'd read some stuff before, but I never practiced it. And
Sure.
so I took an 8 iron and played it in the back of my stance and was like, listen, if I get this anywhere near the green, like I'm okay. Like that's all I'm looking for. Well,
Sure.
I ended up hitting it clean and hitting it to about 12 feet. Made the birdie for my back-to-back birdie.
Let's
And at
go.
that point, I just can't even really explain it. Like I can't even put into words. I wouldn't say that I had a surge of confidence, but I had I just kind of went into the zone. Like I know golfers talk about that all the time and they want to
Sure.
get there. And
Yeah.
honestly, I don't think I've ever been that deep in the zone ever again. But like, I don't really remember the last, 6 or 5 holes. Like I was just kind of playing golf. I think I bogeyed one hole from there on out, or I think I bogeyed 2 holes from there on out. I think I had one bogey, parred the rest, and then on 18 was a par five. It was a pretty tough par five. So I was like, listen, if I walk away with bogey on this, like I'm okay, which I ended up doing. I ended up bogeying it. It was like, all right, that's good. So we finished 18, and all the three guys that are with me are all shaking my hand and congratulating me. Like I had stopped looking at the leaderboard. I'm one of those golfers that likes to know where I'm at. Like I like to know what shots I need to play, when it's time to be aggressive, when it's time not to be. So I like to check it. Plus, I like seeing where my friends are. I always check on Florida Mike during tournaments. I always check on a couple of my other boys. I like to know. So they're congratulating me, and I'm like, for like, thanks. Like, yeah, I played pretty good on the back nine. They're like, no, you won. I'm like, no, there's no.
What?
Yeah, I'm like, no, there's no way I won. I'm like, there. Not everybody's finished yet. I think placed pretty high, but I didn't win. They're like, no, and they showed me the leaderboard, and I think I ended up winning about like 5 or 6 strokes.
It was in.
Um,
It was done.
yeah. So I was like
Question.
over the
Did
moon.
any of those birdies take pulling some skins for you?
On the last day, no. But on the first day, that par five that I just talked about, 18, it was a tough par five, but it's the first day. So I hit a good drive in the fairway and was like, all right, I'm gonna go for it, hit my 3 wood. Was like it's high risk, high reward type of thing. Ended up hitting it okay to the front edge of the green and chipped in for eagle on the first day. So I ended up winning quite a few $100s for that skin, but that was the only one I won on the weekend.
That's okay.
You remember
What?
where we get group pictures at nationals?
Yeah.
It's the green right next to the right of where we get our pictures taken. He played that par five, that course where they hold the headquarters at.
All right. I was just gonna ask where the final round was, and so
Yeah,
you
it was
answered my question. You answered my
Arthur
question.
Dunes, I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Arthur
yeah.
Hall, Palmetto
Yeah.
Dunes, Arthur Hall, or
So
something.
you came in, you literally saw the big scoreboard that they change
Yep.
every day, and what was that feeling like, man? What was that feeling when you looked at that big scoreboard and you saw your name atop, bro?
Man, it was surreal. Like it was surreal. I mean, it was just something that was like, hey, haven't been playing long, but I've been working really hard and I love this game. Like I'm addicted to it. And my wife was there with me. She came up for the trip
Awesome.
with me, so it was awesome to have her there next to me and supporting me. And um, it was just a great feeling to know that I could, like I said, pivot from what I had done my entire life and kind of dedicated my life to, and I'm still dedicating my life to in my career. But to do something different that I'd never done before and put in the work and find success was just an awesome feeling. Like surreal is how I
Huge.
would describe it.
Let me ask you something. After you won that Natty championship, did you go back to the kids and you brag a little bit? And did you tell the kiddos that we're teaching you a little bit? Did you teach them a little something after that, or what?
I did. They actually both ended up going to my high school that I coached basketball at, and I saw them one day after school, and I was like, "Hey, look, like because they knew that I had started playing competitively, and they'd always ask me how the tournaments went and stuff like that. So I took a picture of the trophy and showed them the picture that me and my wife took afterwards with the trophy, and yeah, they thought it was awesome, and my basketball kids all were texting me on the way home asking how it went because they knew I had gone up there for the weekend, and it was good. It was just an awesome experience, and I haven't been able to go back the last couple of years just because we had a family vacation one year, and some other stuff with work. But I would love to go back, win or lose. Like it was just
This year we're going, bro. So you in?
I got to look at the weekend. So me and my family, my in-laws, my parents, we all take a cruise in the fall every year. And last year it fell on the weekend at Nationals, so I couldn't really get out of it. But if I'm open that weekend, absolutely, I'm looking forward to going back and just doing it again, whether win or lose. Like it was just an unbelievable experience.
It
Yeah,
is. It is. All right. So now I want you to continue your journey because Mike kind of cut you off. So now you win. You win the Natty Championship. They bump you up to B flight, right?
Yep.
All right. So
And
continue there. Go ahead.
yep. So went to B flight, and now I had a little bit of confidence about me. I've been playing for a while, and so I kept working with my coach. Had enough knowledge now that I've kind of designed my own practice plans, and I'm kind of following them myself, but focused on what I need specifically. Uh, Ended up winning quite a few tournaments in B flight at the beginning of the season, and this is a crazy story. So we played Juliet Falls later in the season, which is my favorite course around here. It's beautiful. I love the
absolutely.
course. Like I said, one of my favorite golf courses. So we go out and I was playing great, like fantastic. I think I shot a 77, so 5 over that day, like one of the better rounds I'd ever had at the time, and ended up coming in third. Um, so I ended up coming in third, and this was like the tournament right before the season finale, right before to go to nationals. So we had the
Okay.
season finale, then nationals, and I was planning on going back that year. Um, so I ended up finishing third with a 77 in B flight. The guys that beat me tied for 73 and went to a playoff. So 1 over in B flight, which it was, I will say, like the pins were easy. They like
Yeah,
it was a day to score. Like everybody played well. So what happened is my handicap ended up dropping zero point 0.1 below the threshold.
yeah,
So right before our season finale, they bumped me up to A flight. And at that point, I was like, man, like, I mean, I know I'm getting better, but I don't know if I'm ready for A flight. And it's right before nationals. Like, I don't know that I want to spend the money to go to nationals and compete against A flighters. I just don't think I'm ready. So that was pretty wild how that happened, but it ended up being a blessing in disguise because then the next season I came back was in A flight officially. And really had to kind of step up my game. Kind of became more than just hitting good shots. To I had to learn about the mental game. I had I've really dug into that lately. I've read a lot of books. I've watched a lot of seminars on that mental game because Everybody in A flight hits the ball well. Everybody in A flight can score at all three levels. They can hit the driver, they can hit the irons, they can putt. So it really comes down to that mental strategy and things like that. So it really kind of forced me to take my game from already getting better very quickly to now, like, hey, there's another step. Like, physically you're developing the skill, but now you're playing against guys that the skill isn't everything. Like, you've got to have that other piece. So I ended up playing that season in A flight, did pretty good. I think I won one tournament. Like I said, I wasn't able to go to nationals because of family vacation. And then this season I'm in A flight again. And Unfortunately, haven't been able to play many tournaments the first half of the year due to my coaching job. But now that the second half of the year is starting, I'm looking forward to having my comeback tournament at the regional at Cabot, which I am super excited about, and then trying to finish out the season and hopefully qualify for nationals and look forward to going this year.
Listen, I tell you, if you win the regional, you got your trip to nationals.
That's the plan.
Yes, sir. Those courses are primo, my friend.
Oh, I
So,
remember when you and I went and played; it was unbelievable.
oh yeah. So in like a little like recap, kind of like about Thomas's journey is during this time and me meeting him in D flight and seeing watching how he moved, and then I was with him when he won the national championship, and we all talked, and I told him something, because he like I told you, like I kind of got screwed in that year at nationals, and I like really held like a chip on my shoulder. And watching Thomas win, I told him I was like, I'm gonna win it next year. He gave me that extra drive watching him win it. Because that what was it started like I think the after the second day we were both close to the leader, and we were talking about like, dude, that would be sweet if we could both win this, and I ended up getting like 11. But yeah, watching him win that, I was like, dude, I'm winning next year, and I
Yeah.
did,
Yep.
and
I remember you saying that. And I was disappointed I couldn't be there with you.
I know I had to pick up your poster. Remember?
I know. I
Yeah.
know. I was checking the scores every day, watching to see where you were at.
Oh man, and it was like and even though like it was a different type of win, how he felt that day, that last day, I felt that exact same thing. You know, he did it. He did it quick. I did it pretty quick too. So it's kind of like almost like I'm following Thomas a little bit. Like he's like driving me to do it because we started in D flight together. He was there a year, I think, before me, and we all kind of like introduced each other quick. Like I met his friends, and we ended up all playing together, and we ended up making some friendships, and that's what's awesome about the tour. But just watching him excel, and I even asked like, dude, who's your coach? Where are you coach? Where are you getting lessons at? Like I was just picking his brain, asking questions. Like, dude, what are you doing differently? Like, what kind of swing change did you do? This, that. I play around with him. Just watch how he plays. Watch how calm he is. His demeanor the entire time. Even if he hits a bad shot, he's like ice cold. You know. And I know that's not how he is, but when he's on the course, that's how he is, and it's awesome.
In the zone.
In the zone, and I took a lot from Tom. I learned a lot from him, for sure. And I'm gonna meet him in A flight one day. I'm
I,
almost there.
I hope so. I'm
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yes.
It takes some of us a little longer there, Thomas, to make our way up there.
Yeah.
But the game of golf is tough, man. The game of golf is tough, and you were introduced at a later age, and listen, you learned it. You put the work in. I love to hear it, man. I love all about it, man. Love the game of golf so much. I'm so addicted to it, bro. I'm in C flight, and I was in D flight. I was winning a bunch. Got moved up to C flight, and now like I'm at the bottom of the pack in C flight. And I told Florida Mike, like I actually just texted our director. I'm like, can I go back to D flight? He's like, well, I really can't allow you to go to D flight unless your handicap says it. And like right now I'm at like a 16. So I was at like at the beginning of the season, I was like at like a 15-5, 15-2 or something like that. Now after this weekend's event, I shot back-to-back 95s. My home course, miserable, raining, downpour here in upstate New York. I was sending Florida Mike pictures, videos. Like, dude, I play this course every weekend, and I could hit the ball pretty well off the tee. I smash it like, a good 260. I know where my ball lands every time on this home course. I'm hitting the ball really good, Florida Mike, and I'm like driving up. I was actually playing with Scrounds the first day. I'm like, this is my fucking ball. I'm like, dude, this is no way this is my ball. I'm like, I smashed it, but like the rain
Yeah, but you're
drops.
playing in a monsoon though.
100%. 100%.
And you can't take, I mean, obviously as a competitor, it stings when you don't win, right? Especially like the season opener, your home course, you're confident, your game's feeling good, and then you go out there and you throw a dud. I've done it a bunch, but you have a monsoon. Like you were showing me pictures and videos, it's coming down in like literal buckets of rain and wind and everything. And at that point, you just got to be like, it is what it is, and as your friend, I'm not going to let you go to D flight. So
there's the picture of me, Florida
you just gotta put in the work,
No, I
and
know.
you just gotta fight, and you gotta learn, and because as soon as you do, you click. Once you get one win, especially in sea flight, because it can change so much in like a blink of an eye. That once you get one win, you can start putting them together, and then you build that confidence, and then you see your handicap dropping, and you just win.
I don't truthfully want to go back to D flight, dude. That's a lie. I was totally joking. I mean,
Yeah, I know you were.
I want to go back there because I was winning and I was at the top of the pack and it was fun holding trophies up and everything. And now I'm at the bottom of the pack and seeing, and I'm it's the beginning of the season here. I played a bunch of indoor golf, which I don't personally like. I told you all about the indoor golf. Like it's fun seeing your drive, smashing it into a screen, but short game does nothing for you. But beginning of the season for me, so it was literally the first event, went back-to-back 95s. I'm not going to literally get down on myself, but I just don't see myself shooting low 80s anytime soon, bro. I don't know. Maybe I will. Right now I'm in the high. Right now a good round. I'm 88, 89. I put a couple heaters together last year, and I was shooting really well at the end of the season, and it dropped me down to C flight, and it is what it actually it wasn't the beginning of the season. I'm sorry. So I went D flight nationals, was in D flight, and then I would say like the first 4 events after nationals.
Yeah. But like think about this though. If you eliminate, say you're shooting 88, right? Constant, 88, 89. If you just eliminate one triple and one double, you're in contention every tournament in C flight.
No, I know.
Well, so can I jump in and
Yeah.
kind of give,
please.
yeah, like there's something that I've done in the last year or so. Like I said, I've done a deep dive on the mental golf, which as a basketball coach, like I love the mental stuff. Like I love learning. And as a high school coach, like I have to do a lot of scouting reports, and like our game plans with our kids are detailed. They're like 10 pages long. They all get a packet. They got to go over all this information about each player and the team and all that. So it's kind of like something that I'm really interested in. So I don't remember the program that I was watching. I'll have to look at it. I think Mike, I've told you about it before, that I was doing like a class online, learning about the mental game. So one thing I've done recently, I actually carry a yardage book cover. Like you see the pros pull it out of their back pocket, and that's their yardage book, things like that. I don't actually carry a yardage book. So I have the cover, and in the cover is pages, and each page is each hole on the course. So I pre-look at the holes on each course. I go on my GPS, and if it's a course I've played before, obviously I know where I want to hit the ball, and I write down what I want each shot on each hole to look like. So I have a roadmap, a game plan of exactly how I want to play the course before every match. And I flip it open, and it's like, okay, like off the tee here, like short par 4, like don't need to hit driver. You want to hit your 4-iron to about, 100 yards, and that leaves you a good wedge in. Here's, you want to leave it short here. You want to leave it long. Here's where not to miss. Like it's my notes from playing the course before. And I've got it all like and I've got a roadmap, and then obviously it changes like throughout the tournament. Like you hit a bad shot, you miss hit one, like you don't end up where you thought you were going to be. So you got to make some adjustments. But for me, as someone who's very strategic and someone who doesn't like a lot of the guesswork, it takes a lot of that guesswork out. Now, instead of every shot I'm making a decision, it's only the shots that didn't end up the way I wanted them to end up that I have to make a decision. And at that point, I feel like my focus stays sharper, because the shots that I hit that go where I want them to, then the next shot I don't have to think about it. Like I know this is what I'm hitting this next shot. And if it's a shot that I hit wrong, now I only have to make one decision instead of, if I shoot an average score of 78, like instead of making 78 decisions, now I'm only making like 9 or 10 decisions each round. And it takes away that room for error. And there will be times that even like I'm like, hey, this is a tough hole. If you walk away with bogey here, you're good. So like I may even play like a long par four, like a par five, and just say, hey, if I put myself in a good position to put it, make one for par, that's great. If I walk away with bogey, I'm good. But it eliminates a lot of those triples and doubles for me. And it takes away that physical, like relying on just my physical skill to more of like now I feel much more confident going into each hole because I kind of have that roadmap. That's something that I've seen take 5 or 6 strokes off my game in the last year.
I'm going to I think I love that idea, Florida Mike. I might copy him. And everybody has 18 birdies or the Grant where you could go on. And I mean, even if you didn't play the course, which I've played most courses on our schedule, so I will remember, but everybody's got those apps, man. You could go on and look at the app and do your homework.
All right, I put my notes. I used to do the same thing. Like when I won the national championship, I did practice rounds, and I wrote notes in pencil because I even went to like the USGA book to like make sure you're allowed to do stuff like that. And so I did that, and I wrote down notes for every hole, misses, where you can miss, not miss, and I do it now too with holes or courses I don't play. If I play a new course, I'll take notes. Now, like when we play Juliet Falls, we know where the misses are and where they're not. We know how the greens play. So we obviously have that mental note because we play it a lot. I would pretty much say it's a home course in an aspect. But I'm just learning that stuff. And it kind of is like the mental aspect is the hardest part of the game to learn. Because you got your own demons in your brain for the mental part. But I've noticed with golf that you literally get it beaten into you enough, you will remember. And eventually it clicks and it stays there,
Right. And
but
it eliminates some of that ego too. Like sometimes like before I knew what I was trying to do, like you're like, oh, I can reach this green in 2. And then you end up like being in trouble all the time. And so like now, like with Juliet Falls, like that long par 5 uphill, Mike, on the front 9. Like, I used to try to go, like, I'd be like, all right, I'm 240 yards out. I can reach this green. I don't think I've ever reached that green in 2. Just because there's always wind in your face. It's uphill. It's guarded by a big bunker.
Oh yeah.
And so I end up doubling or tripling that hole. So now when I go and play there, hey, I'm not trying to reach this green. I'm hitting a pitching wedge and I'm laying up, and then I got a wedge in my hand, and now I birdie that hole more often than not. But it's amazing to me, like that mental game. And I wish I had learned it earlier, even earlier, like when I first started. It's amazing how many strokes you can take off without actually getting any better physically, just by like being aware of your decision making. I love that part of the game.
And that course management, like you said, like you said before. Brother, I don't want to take a lot of your time, so we're going to take a short intermission, and then we're going to talk about your I want to talk about your coaching journey at with basketball, man, because that sounds awesome. So we'll be back. We'll give my sponsors a quick ad read, and we'll be back in a second. Is your swimming pool looking more like a pond these days? Don't sweat it. Swimming Pool Repair Experts has your back. Since 2000, Swimming Pool Repair Experts has been the trusted name for top-notch in-ground pool renovations across the greater capital region. From liner changes and pool bottom refinishing to plumbing repairs, opening, closings, and stunning upgrades like lighting, benches, stairs, and decks, Swimming Pool Repair Experts does it all. Their expert team is ready to bring your pool back to life so you can dive into some summer fun. Because what's better than taking a nice dip after a long round of golf? Get a hold of Jim over at Swimming Pool Repair Experts today at 518-858-2587. That's 518-858-2587. Or check his website out, swimmingpoolrepairexperts.com. And don't forget to tell Jim that you heard about him on the Upstate Golf Guys podcast for that extra discount.
Hey, Mike, you know anybody does any roofing?
Actually, I do, Raj.
Who you got for me, man?
Dude named Tom Murphy did my boss's roof. Actually does hands-on work.
Gets right up there on the roof, huh? The owner of the company?
Yeah, he does. Knows his shit, too.
That's awesome, man. Is this Thomas Paul Construction?
Yep, that's him.
Man, I heard nothing but good things about them. I'm actually on their Facebook page right now looking up some things. The pictures, the aerial view, they're really cool. He gets up there with the drone. You can see the before and afters of some of the work they've done. Go check them out on Facebook. They're a new sponsor here, the Upstate Golf Guys. So make sure you guys go support Thomas Paul Construction, Roofing and Siding. Thomas Paul Construction LLC is a full-service construction company who specializes in roofing and siding, covering the greater capital region. You can reach them at 518-308-6794. Once again, 518-308-6794. And make sure to go check out their Facebook page, see some pictures of what they've done in the past, and let them know the Upstate Golf Guys sent you.
All right, we are back after that short intermission. Thomas, I want you to tell me about your coaching journey now, man. I know you have a pretty good team down there in Florida. Tell me all about that, buddy.
Yeah, so that's really where my passion is. That's what I've known I've wanted to do my entire life from a young age. My dad has been a high school coach for 30 years, was my coach growing up, coached at my alma mater, played for him, went off to college, and originally thought I wanted to pursue college coaching. After I was kind of into it and around that world, kind of decided that my passion really lied with high school kids, and helping them get to college was kind of what I wanted to do. So after I graduated, I moved back into town. And opened up my own training business. So I'm what you would call an individual skills specialist. So I have kids come in the evenings pretty much every night of the week. And I do skills training with them. I teach them how to play correctly. I have kids as young as kindergarten that I work with all the way up through. Now we've been in business for 11 years. So we think we have had over 100 kids sign college scholarships from our area. And we're from a very small town. Florida Mike and I are from very rural Florida. So there's not a lot of opportunities for kids here, especially on the athletic end, other than just playing. And we wanted to provide an opportunity for kids that you get in bigger cities. You go to bigger cities and there's skills trainers every 5 feet. I mean, you can find one, everywhere you look. We didn't have something like that. So me and my business partner decided that we wanted to do that. His son at the time was a third grader, I believe. No, second grader. And he asked, he was like, hey, I played basketball, but I don't really know as much as you. Like, will you do some workouts with him? So I took him up to the gym and was doing some stuff with him. And I was like, man, this kid's good, like really good. His name's JT Tipton. And so Dad and I went into business together, opened up our program and trained kids, kind of built it over the years. So that's what I do primarily for work, and that has turned into travel teams. And then after my first year home, I decided that I officially wanted to coach high school basketball. So I'm currently the head JV coach at Lecanto High School, and I'm the head JV coach, and then I'm the director of player development for the varsity. So my job is to focus on skill development with varsity players, which most of the kids now were the kids. So JT, my business partner's son, is a rising senior. So most of the kids in his class that are seniors have been training with me for years, and they've played on my travel teams. So we've built it over time, and I'm 5 years in as a JV coach. And then I think my dad and I have talked. He's got one more year before he retires. Then the plan is to take over as the varsity coach at Lecanto and kind of follow in his footsteps. And my ultimate goal is teaching kids life lessons. Eventually basketball is going to end. It's not going to be forever for most kids. Not everybody goes to the NBA. So learning those life lessons through sports, teaching accountability, and then teaching what it takes to win. We want to raise winners. We want to raise successful human beings. We want to raise compassionate human beings. So that's really what I find the most love in from coaching, is not only seeing kids be successful on the court, but seeing the success off the court. And I'm very thankful to have both. We have 100% graduation rate since. I think my dad's always had 100% graduation rate, but definitely in the 5 years that I've been there, I've seen 100% graduation rate. We've sent from our training program, which isn't just kids from our high school, it's kids from all around the state of Florida. We've sent 100 kids to college on scholarships, and our high school team is one of the top 100 teams in the state, and ended up getting to the Elite Eight last year for the second time in school history. With everybody coming back, we're hoping to make the Final Four, which would be the first time that any team from this county has ever done that.
Yep.
Nice, dude. That's amazing. Congratulations on all your success there, buddy.
Thank
Following,
you.
excuse me, also following your dad's footsteps. That's amazing. I'm following my dad's footsteps in the family business. About to take over. I'm trying to kick my dad out the door. 52 years in business. We just own a store, convenience store, in a big state office building here in Albany, New York. But we're very proud of it as well. It's just one of those family things. I feel like that when you want to take over your father's footsteps, man, you're proud and you keep it going, man. You keep the journey going. That's amazing, buddy.
Yeah, that's really kind of what I've always wanted to do, and I have unbelievable respect for my father, and now so the reason I haven't been able to play much on the tour, which I've been disappointed, I haven't seen Florida Mike in months. But yeah, we so the group that is going to be rising juniors when my dad officially leaves is going to be the first group that I have as a varsity coach. So and that group is just as good as the senior group that he has. I've got a kid that's a 6'8" guard that is getting some looks at a young age for some colleges, and I got some other pieces around him that are very, very high level players. So we've started a national team on the travel circuit. So we've been traveling all over the country the last couple of months. So we've New Jersey, Kansas City. We're leaving for Cincinnati next weekend. We're going to Chicago. So we're like all over the country. So
That's amazing. Let's
it's
go.
been
Let's
an
go, dude. Keep up that good work, dude. I love that.
unbelievable experience.
I love that. All right, so before we finish up, I'm gonna just throw a couple random questions out there, some basketball questions, some golf questions. Favorite college hoops teams got to be, is it the Gators? I mean, got to
It
be
is
Florida Gators.
it is the Florida Gators.
Yeah,
Now,
he's smart too. I mean, come on.
have
Go
to
ahead.
be honest. Yep, have to be honest. When Billy was there, I went to all the Gator camps and got to see those guys live in action a lot. So I was a big Florida Gator kid growing up. Obviously, they went through some years where they weren't as good. So I have to be honest and say that
Yeah.
I was still a Gator fan. But like I'm a Duke Blue Devil guy. Like it's just basketball capital of the world in my opinion. But I love national championship.
Yeah.
They are back on the Florida Gator 100%. And
I'm a Syracuse guy. Obviously I'm in New York, and dude, I
Oh,
always have
sorry.
we're sorry. I always have the memories of Carmelo Anthony and Hakeem Warwick in the Natty Championship beating Kansas and the SWAT. I mean, if you guys remember, it wasn't even, and then Jerry McNamara. It was. I mean, you had Melo. You had Melo doing his thing, but it wasn't even Melo, dude. It was G-Mac. Do you guys remember that? Do you guys remember the game against
Oh yeah.
Kansas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you had G-Mac literally just lighting it up every shot, and then Hakeem Warwick with a swat at the end of the game, bro. It was fucking epic. And yo, I will say I was the only one that had Syracuse like winning it all in this big giant pool. And I remember going to collect the
I'm
cash.
sure you were.
I think I was. I think they were like were they like they were high. They almost lost in the first round to like I almost want to say it was like not St. Bonaventures. It was God. Who was it? But anyways, dude, they ended up in the Final Four. They beat Texas, who was supposed to smoke them. I remember the game against Texas. I was out in Cortland partying watching that game. But then beating Kansas, dude, in the final game was just incredible. And then they came to, so I was in Albany, where my store is, and they all came to the Capitol. Carmelo Anthony, G-Mac, everybody, and I went down to the Capitol of New York State because I had the in. And they're like, yo, you want to come down and try to get some autographs or whatever? I was giving everybody the pound. I got Melo's autograph. He just like scribbled it on a piece of paper for me. But amazing story, dude. Pretty cool story. All right.
yeah, you can't fault you for being a Syracuse fan. I love
No,
Syracuse too, and
Yeah.
in my opinion, I like Syracuse is such an awesome team to watch, especially when Jim was there, because they're one of the few college teams that was able to play a zone at a high
yeah.
level.
Yeah.
And we call our 2-3 zone Syracuse at my school because like I tell my kids all the time, like if you want to play college basketball, you've got to be able to play man to man. Like that's just like guys are too good. Like nobody plays 2-3 zone unless you're Syracuse. But for them to be able to do something that nobody else could do and be successful at it,
Mm-hmm.
man, I would say that Syracuse is probably one of my top 5 programs that I enjoy watching.
Now, do you think is it called NIL that they're working now with college? Is that the deal? I know. Do you think that's going to affect schools like Syracuse or schools in the Northeast for these kids? If is it basically where the money is now? I mean, is it if they could throw a lot of money at these kids? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, so actually, it's affecting me as a high school coach because NIL now is legal for high school kids.
Mm,
So it's
Really?
actually even affecting, yeah, it's even affecting where kids go in high school because now high schools can offer kids NIL or businesses can offer kids NIL deals, which obviously those are boosters. Um, so yeah, it's absolutely changing the entire world of basketball at any level. I think it's making it a lot harder for programs to recruit kids. It's making the transfer portal a much bigger deal. I don't
Mhm.
necessarily know that it affects schools like Syracuse in the Northeast because I do think that I do think that they've a lot of the schools at that level have pivoted very well and are entering the transfer portal. The biggest change that I've seen so far that is made is it's affecting high school kids. So now you don't have colleges recruiting as many high school kids, and it's much harder for a high school kid to get a scholarship, a full ride scholarship to a school because now all the schools are going to the transfer portal first. So they're looking for kids that are transferring. Which when you've got a kid that's already played 2 years of college basketball, like obviously you want that kid before you're going to take an 18-year-old senior.
right.
Yeah.
So as a high school coach, it's much harder for me to get kids to the college level. Like we're having to look at junior colleges, we're having to look at prep schools and tell kids like, hey, you have to go this route now, unless you're a 5-star like recruit. Like you have to go this route now, pay your dues for a year or two until a school picks you up because they're looking for those transfers. So I personally think it's a good thing. Like I think kids should be able to make. I mean, they're not kids; they're adults. Like I think players should be able to make money off their name. It's their name. It's their hard work. But it is causing a huge change in the way that the sport works, especially for young kids that want to get to that next level. And it's been a process as a high school coach to deal with it. So I think it's going to end up being better for the game. But right now, I think that there's just a lot of kinks that people are trying to work out, and there's going to be a new norm that comes in.
All right,
Always
that's
gets
good.
worse before it gets better, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's good to know, Thomas, because I really didn't know much about the NIL, and you kind of just answered my question. And I'm sure the listeners will really appreciate that answer as well because it's something new to everybody. But let's go to golf, buddy. Let's go to golf. Right now, man, to this day, what is your favorite club in your bag? Your most comfortable club to go to that you think you're gonna go scoring hole? You just talked about that par 5. So what's your favorite go-to club, man, that you want to make sure you are at on your second shot, your putts, whatever? Tell me, man.
Oh, well, that changes day to day. Um, I, I actually am a big fan of the driver. I hit my driver very well, very consistently. I'm usually 280 to 300, and I play a little. I went from a huge slice, little baby cut. Now I've turned it into a little baby draw, which I'm pretty confident with. But the driver disappears on you at times. So if you're asking about that second shot, the club that I want to lay up to that I feel confident hitting into a green, a scoring shot, would be my 54 degree. And it's probably a 3/4 swing. I want to be at about 85, 90 yards. I want to hit that little 3/4 swing, controlled, good contact, one hop, try to get it to stop. I'm pretty confident that I can carry it the same number every time. Every green, especially in Florida, they're all different. Juliet Falls, it's going to hit and run like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Twisted Oaks, it's going to hit and stop because the greens are like sponges. But I would say that 54 degree 3/4 is the club that I am. When I'm over that, like I know that I'm going to be on the green. And if you gave me 10 shots, like I'm going to have a pretty good look at birdie more than 50% of the time.
Nice. All right. Now, speaking of birdie, you have a birdie putt with your flat stick. Are you using a mallet or a blade putter right now?
I have gone, yeah, Florida Mike knows my journey with putting. That is the one club that I have not been able to get confident with up until about 2 months ago. I've tried everything. I had a mallet to start, Scotty Cameron. I went to a blade, Scotty Cameron. I went to a broomstick. I went to an arm lock. I mean, I tried everything over the last 3 years, and every time I'd switch to a new one, I had a little bit of confidence because it was just something different for my eyes. And then over time, I'm looking at my stats. I'm like, God, this just is not the one. Recently, recently I made an entire bag change. So I was a Titleist guy, like Titleist through and through. Tire bag was Titleist, everything. recently I've made a change to TaylorMade. I got fitted for some new irons. I've gone more towards a like a player's iron. So I got the P7 CBs. So I'm the kind of guy that everything has to be uniform. Like I'm just OCD like that. So I got the new TaylorMade QI35 driver, and then I switched to the Spider putter. And Mike hasn't seen me putt with that yet, but
No.
since I've switched to the Spider, I will never go to anything else. Like I am so confident over my putts. It's a mallet. I just love that it keeps the face square. I don't feel like I have to really focus on anything. For me, it's just all about control and speed with that putter. And I love the alignment aids on it. It's been fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to getting back to tournaments and seeing how it holds up under pressure, because it's been good in just practice rounds and rounds with my buddies.
Nice. All right, let me think of another question. Oh, Florida Mike, we got to ask this one.
Mhm.
Ask this one. You know what one it is.
Oh, if you could have any foursome, dead or alive, what would it be?
Any foursome, dead or alive? Wow, that's a good question. All right, obviously got to go with the obvious one. Got to play with Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Like that's. I mean, I just the experience, and I loved watching him growing up. Even though I wasn't a golf kid, I just knew greatness when I saw it. He was one of the best to do anything in any sport. I would say the second one would be Rory McIlroy. He's my favorite player. Love his game. Love everything he stands for. Full swing, like the episodes on him, like favorite. Love it. So I'd say he would be another one. Is that Rory?
I got to
Yeah.
keep going, but I'm gonna tell you about it after. I want to hear the
All
last
right.
one.
Another guy, and I think all my four are alive. Another guy is Bryson DeChambeau.
Let's go.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Like, I'll be honest with you, like I didn't know much about him. Watched Full Swing, started watching his stuff online, and like I just love what he's doing for the game of golf. Like he's just a goofy guy. Like he's an athlete. Like he gets a lot of like flack for who he is, but like I love watching the videos with him and Trump like playing, and I just think like the one where he played with like the little kid set. Like I just
Mhm.
think he's bringing more fans into the game of golf because it's not all
Yeah.
about just winning tournaments. And
100%.
I would love to just meet him.
Yep.
Like I'm a coach. I'm an exercise guy. You know, weightlifting is a big part of our basketball program. So I'd love to ask him about his gym routine. But I think he would be a good one to play with. And then
100%.
that fourth one, man, that's a tough one.
Well, you just did four. You did four. Well, you did four. You're the fourth. You just did four.
Oh, I would be the fourth. You're right. Oh,
Yeah,
there you go. I
Yeah.
don't
yeah,
have
you
to
did
answer
it.
it.
So okay, I have a couple things to touch on that. So Bryson DeChambeau went from the most hated player on tour for me to my favorite. It was from the Brooksy days. I think he was able when he went to live, he was set free, dude, and able to be who he wanted to be, bro. When he was in the PGA, I think he was trapped in this whatever it was that everybody thought he was. Okay, and PGA, we all know, has that fucking lock hold on you. You're not allowed to be who you want to be, and I didn't like him through the Brooksy days when there was him in that Brooksy battle, but it was not the true Bryson that we were seeing. We're seeing the true Bryson right now with his YouTube channel, who he wants to be. He literally is like one of the coolest guys on tour. And Florida Mike knows I love this guy so much. I love Bryson DeChambeau.
Oh, I'm a huge fan too, so I understand.
So am I. But Rory, bro, I got this mug. It's hilarious. And listen, you're gonna laugh. You think I got the mug because he won. I mean, he did win. Shout out, he won. Rory, congratulations. But this was actually, I stole this from you, Florida Mike. The first part. It's a text chain from our boys. Okay, and this was made by Scrounge. Made this for me because he's a diehard fan of Rory. Okay, loves Rory to death. And there's like 9 of us, and we were all shitting on him. So I was talking to our other friend Mikey, and I stole this joke from you, Florida Mike. I said, "How about Rory choking like a sea fighter today, Mikey?" And then he said, Bob wrote, "He will never win a Masters." And then no, I'm sorry, I can't even read it.
You need some glasses?
I do. It was, I think it's Ann sent the other Ann. I can't read it because it's blurry. It says he will never win a Masters. And then Bob wrote, "I love watching Rory choke." underneath there. So that's the text chain of us talking shit on Rory, and then the picture of Rory. And
So I gotta share my Rory story winning the Masters. So like I said, we were in Kansas City during the Masters weekend. We were in Kansas City for a basketball tournament, and for some unknown reason, we decided to drive 18 and a half hours instead of fly. So it was me, my business partner, and JT, the player that I told you about. So we all rode together, and so on the way back, we're leaving, and my business partner actually sprained his ankle like while we were there. So he was on crutches, so he couldn't drive back. And so it's just me and JT's, 18. And so he's able to drive, but we don't want an 18-year-old kid driving 18 and a half hours. So I start driving, and the information from the Masters is popping up on Sunday on our way home. And so I'm like, JT, you got to take over for a little while. Like, I can't, like, I got to watch this. Like, this is history being made. So me and Jerry, his dad, are sitting there watching it on my phone as we're driving down the interstate. And JT, he played golf when he was younger and loves golf. He's asking, like, what's going on? What's going on? I can't see. I can't watch. So we're watching, and then he misses the putt on 18 to win. And the whole car, like all three of us are just like, oh my God, he did it again. He choked again. Yeah, like, so then it goes to the playoff, and then he ends up making the putt on the playoff. And, Jerry and I are older. We saw Tiger Woods play, and we know golf history, and this is history being made. And it's just so funny. JT was like, all right, you're driving again, because now I'm mad that I missed it. I didn't even get to experience it. This is like my time to experience golf history being made. So I will never forget that memory, and I'm a huge Rory guy. But like,
that's awesome.
It was awesome to like get to experience it, not just sitting on my couch, but like with people that are basically family to me.
Dude, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. The next day after, I was like I really was rooting for Rose hard because he has a story too. But the next day I did wake up and I was like, you know what? I am truthfully happy for Rory. I love the fact that he got this weight off his shoulders. He's got the Grand Slam. Now, the dude's a damn good golfer. He's fucking awesome golfer. He's really, really, really good at golf. I wasn't, we were giving him the little bad jujus. If Florida Mike remembers in the live feed, we were.
I remember. I'll give him bad juju again at the PGA Championship. I don't care.
We were all rooting for Rose. We were all rooting for Justy Rose again because he was there. I think he's gonna. I don't know if he'll be there ever again that close, man. His story is a shame too. I mean, Florida Mike, what was it? How many times has he been there?
20 years. Justin Rose was there. He leads all players with the most leads after day one without a Masters jacket.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's got five or six,
like top tens.
No, five or six leads after day one he's had.
No, and then
his tens. I think he has a ton of top tens, but
yeah, he's always there. He's like one of the best picks for a top 10.
And that's what I love. I love about the game of golf, and I even relate it to my players in basketball. Like, and they roll their eyes at me when I talk about golf because none of them other than JT and another kid have ever played golf. But like, I'm like, guys, like, we talk about winning and losing in basketball, but like, golf is one of those sports that you could play your entire life and competitively you could play in tournaments and you could be a great golfer and only one guy wins. Like, it is truly the hardest sport to win at. And it's one of those sports that even when you don't win, you could be considered extremely successful. Yep. Like in basketball, it's win or lose. And like, if you don't win, like, you're considered not successful. I mean, you gotta have good players, but like teams, like you don't win, you're not. But in golf, like, you could be somebody that is placing in the top 10 but never winning and be considered a great golfer. And like, I just think it's an awesome sport, and like, it teaches so many life lessons. I've grown as a person just since I've started playing, just because the dynamic is just so different than any other sport ever invented.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, honest. Go ahead, Florida Mike. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like a touch on that is like Ian Kisner when he had that interview, right? And they're like, how come you're not upset that you're not winning? And he's like, well, they pay pretty good for 20th. This is like during when everybody's on fire. You got Rory was on fire. There's just a lot of talent, and he obviously he wants to win, and he's a great golfer. That dude doesn't have but. He said,
the top 20. Listen,
and he said, "There's nothing wrong with top. They pay pretty good for top 20." Like, hey, listen, like if you're accepting that, he's not lying. Like you
Right.
top 20 at the Masters, you're making six figures.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I
You're 100%
mean,
right.
hey, good for him. You know,
And here's the thing,
but
Thomas, I was going to say before we close it out, like golf, you hit the nail on the head, but like golf is also a sport that beats you up so bad. I've played a lot of sports in my life. Mentally, I should say, it beats you up so bad, right? So when you do get that win, man, when you get that win, it just feels so much better because you were just, you might have had a course that just drained you a week ago. And now you come out and you're holding that trophy up. It is, dude. It's such a good feeling, Thomas. For sure.
I agree.
But listen, let's close things out with. I'm going to close things out with one final question for you, buddy. And it's not golf related. You're a coach. You have a young kid that's really, really, really. His dream is to play professional hoops, buddy. But he's at the high school level, maybe middle school level. He has it. He has it all. He's got the height, he's got the game. But what do you tell him? What do you tell a 7th, 8th grader to get through high school and get to that part in life, man? What's the advice you would give him?
Oh man, that's a good question. So there's a couple of things that I talk with my players about, especially kids that have aspirations to play at a level like that. And I actually have an 18-year-old on one of our national teams that's a 4-star, top 40 in the country, and has aspirations to play in the NBA. His name's Jojo Philon. He's an unbelievable kid, unbelievable player. So we have conversations about, number one, it has nothing like, before we even talk about what's going on the court, you have to talk about everything off the court, and you have to talk about your image. You have to talk about your like your grades. You have to talk about how you treat people, how you act. Like you have to act like an NBA player. You have to act like that, because you could go into the inner city New York. I mean, I know you're from New York. I'm sure you know Rucker Park. Like you could go to Rucker Park and NBA guys like in the offseason go and play there. And there's guys that don't play in the NBA that are better than guys in the NBA skill wise, but they made poor decisions. They didn't take things seriously off the court. They maybe got in some trouble or just didn't do things the right way, and their careers never panned out. So like the number one thing is like you have to hold yourself to the highest standard. Like you have got to say it's not just about what I do on the court. If I want to be at that level, college Division 1 NBA type guy, everything you do has got to be in pursuit of that. Your grades have got to be the level of a Division 1 athlete and a professional. Like you can't act like a kid. You got to be a professional. The way you treat people, the way you act, the way you post on social media, like those things have got to be professional. Like you've got to have all the off-court stuff in order, T's crossed, I's dotted, before we can even talk about your skill on the court. That is the number one lesson that I send to my kids. And even if they can't play in the NBA, you're talking about like businesses, like job interviews, they're going to go and look back and like what kind of person you are. So like that is the number one thing that we try to teach our kids. And then if you're talking on the court stuff that you need to do, first off, you got to be the hardest worker in the room anytime you walk in the room. Recently, Anthony Edwards gave a post-game interview and was talking about when he was at Georgia and he was trying to get in the NBA. And he said he went and tried out for the Golden State Warriors, and Steve Kerr kept telling him, "You're not working hard enough. You're not going hard enough. You're not doing this hard enough." And he was like, "Man, I thought I was killing myself." He's like, "Listen, you don't even know what Steph and Clay look like when they're working out. Like you look like you're going half speed." And he's like, now that I'm in it and like I'm on a playoff team and I'm one of the better players in the league, I understand now. Like you have got to work harder than you think you can work. And then even when you get to that point that you're working harder than you think you can work, you're still not working hard enough.
Keep going.
that's right.
Yeah, like you have got to put in that time. And it's on the court skills. It's when you're doing drills, it's game reps, not just going through the motions. It's game reps. Are you taking your nutrition serious? Are you taking your body serious? Are you taking your film studies serious? Like all of those things, like you got to be the hardest worker in the room. And then the last thing that I tell kids is you have to be honest with yourself. Michael Jordan said it best. If you think that you have found a weakness in my game, I'm going to do everything I can to go and make that weakness a strength. Like you have got to be honest with yourself and say, hey, what am I good at? And I need to keep getting better at that. But what am I not good at? And I need to go and make that a focal point, and I need to make changes in my game to make that a strength. And you have got to be a student of the game. You have got to have the attitude of I can never stop learning, no matter how good I get. I can always learn. And you have got to be receptive to criticism. You've got to be receptive to coaching, and you've got to be receptive to your own ego. And you've got to be receptive to the fact that, yes, my ego tells me this, but I have to put myself in check, and I've got to be honest with myself, and I've got to take these weaknesses that, even though I don't like to admit they're weaknesses, I know that they're weaknesses, and I've got to go and make them strengths. If you can put all those three things together, and then at the end of the day, playing at that level, less than 1% of high school athletes play college basketball, less than 1% of that play professional basketball, whether it's NBA or overseas. Like, you've just got to be, if you have the intangibles that can get you to that level, then those are the three things that you have to follow. And then the other thing we tell kids is like, look, to play professional basketball, golf, anything, like, you got to be born that way. Like people are just born that way. I mean, yeah, there's the exception to the rule. People work really hard. But not every kid. I mean, there's kids out there that could spend 24 hours a day practicing and playing and training, and they just are not born to do that. You have to accept that, and you have to follow your path in life. Like, I have a kid on my team right now. I've had him since 7th grade. He struggled to make our middle school team, worked really hard, ended up making our high school team, was a starter for me on the JV, was one of my better players. He's now struggling to get minutes at the varsity level because of the guys that we have. We have 2 all-state guards that play the same position as him. But I've told him, I'm like, dude, I know your original dreams were play college basketball. And I'm not saying you can't do that. But I'm saying there are other paths in life that you can take all the hard work you've put in. And him and I have had conversations about him trying to pursue college coaching, which, again, you're not where you thought you were going to be when you're in 7th grade, but now you're making a great living with all the lessons that you learned from sports.
Sure.
So, like, my advice to kids is just, like, if you have the intangibles and you can get to that level, follow those 3 things. But if you can't get to that level, don't. Oh, my dog's barking at something outside. Sorry.
You're fine, dude. You're good.
But if you can't get to that level, that doesn't mean that you can't pursue your passion and you can't find success in this world with what you love. Like, there is always an opportunity. If there's a will, there's a way, and you've got to find that way.
Amen.
Amen, brother. And with that said, man, I'm going to close things out. Florida Mike, thank you, dude, for getting me Thomas as a guest, because now I'm not only going to be following you at Cabot, I'm going to be following Thomas at Cabot and rooting for both of you guys to take that W. You already have your entry into nationals. You're good.
Yes,
You're
I do.
Thomas is going to take that W anyways, and I'm going to see you down at nationals. And Thomas, you're going to have to tell your family that they're going to have to do that cruise the following week or something. Because we're all going to be at nationals together having a good time in October, brother. I wish you the best of luck, though, with the coaching thing. That's so cool, man, that story. I love it. I really wish your kids the best of luck for their journey with college, and hopefully some of them do see that 1% that goes to the NBA. You never know. You never know, brother. But and congratulations on your golf journey, man. Going from D to A in such a quick time, winning a Natty championship. Such a cool story. I'll have you back on the podcast maybe anytime if you want to tell me more about the kids, if you have any updates, or if you have another big win on tour. Would love to have you back on the podcast, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. I love what you guys are doing. This podcast is awesome. I think you guys are doing great things, and I'd love to be back on anytime, and would love to get you down here in Florida and have you play some rounds with us. I mean, looking forward to seeing you at nationals, but anytime you want to come down, we'll go spend a golf weekend together. That sounds like a plan to me.
100%. Well, Florida Mike, he's coming. We're already talking about it. He's coming up this summer. I'm coming down in probably March next year. We're going to start doing like alternate trips every year. We got to do it, man. Life is too short, man. And we both love golf, bro. So we're going to start making it happen.
Sounds like it'd be a great time. I'm all in.
I love it, buddy. I love it. All right, Thomas. Thank you again for coming on the podcast. If you want to hang around for a second after we close things out. If not, go take care of the dog, man. I know how it goes. But we'll talk to you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this amazing episode of the Upstate Golf Guys podcast. We'll catch you guys all next time.
Eagle, birdie, par, bogey, fly, swing that club, watch it sky. Lombardi putter shines so clean. Golfing addicts chasing the green. Upstate golf guys, that's the vibe. Golf and laughs keep us alive. Tune in now, don't you see? Podcast legends, it's Anthony and me.